The rolling blackouts South Africa endured due to supply shortages forced many to turn to renewable energy sources like the sun. Even the South African Revenue Service came on board, offering tax rebates on those installing solar panels to generate electricity. However, it's been more than 3 months without load shedding, as the tide turning towards renewables a moot point. Now not when the cost of electricity is becoming a sore point for businesses and the public alike. But what is the uptake of home solar harvesting systems, especially in the Eastern Cape, one of the poorer provinces? SABC News reporter Lerato Fekisi has more. Good afternoon, Lerato. Give us a little bit more detail when it comes to that uptake of solar systems in the Eastern Cape.
Afternoon, Anastasia. I think the rise of load shedding has created a new narrative and conversations about the need for renewable energy. In the past couple of years, we've seen the growth of wind turbines and also solar panels, not as fast perhaps would have hoped so. But this afternoon, I'm joined by Michael Straton from Straton Solar to speak to us what it takes to put up a solar panel and perhaps the challenges that this industry is facing. Michael, obviously you've been in the industry for quite some time doing solar panels. In terms of this as an alternative source of energy, in terms of renewable energy, what are some of the challenges you've picked up in the sector?
The challenges are that the industry is driven mostly by the pain of load shedding and the pain of increasing electricity costs. Those are the challenges that people find out there, and we obviously try and address those. In this last 100 or so days that we've had no load shedding, the pain of the load shedding has gone away, so we've seen a decrease in the amount of solar that gets installed in particularly the domestic market. But contrary to that, we've seen an uprise in the electricity in the solar that's been installed in businesses, because they want to obviously guard against increasing energy costs and the possibility of futures of rolling blackouts.
And then, Michael, when we got here to your premises, you spoke about the expenses of just one battery alone. Now, when you speak of resources and procurement of that, do you think that in terms of the monetary value that takes to putting up the solar is also one of the reasons why perhaps the growth hasn't been as fast as perhaps people in the industry would have liked?
There's definitely a high cost to install the solar systems properly. We find, as legitimate contractors who have registered properly with all the entities we need to register with, we find we're competing with people that are not registered. They effectively fly by nights, and they're able to install at much lower cost than we are. So the cost driver is a big factor in what we do.
Do you also feel that, I know there is currently a conversation around renewable energy around the country. In your experience, especially within the sector, and also wind turbines, I want to bring that into the conversation as well. Do you think that these two could be the alternative, especially facing the crisis that we're facing in terms of energy?
I think they're past becoming an alternative. I think they are almost becoming an essential mix in the power system. If we're talking about wind turbines, it's mostly on the wind farm sort of basis. So it's big commercial plants that feed in. It's not at the point where it's really suitable for the domestic market. It's more commercially driven. I think when you add battery energy storage into the mix of solar and wind, you definitely have a winning solution. And those times are coming where it's going to become more a primary driver than an alternative.
And then also, what can be done, and where do these resources have to come to grow the sector?
We need a lot of resources in terms of manpower. There's opportunities for people who are properly trained to enter the industry and to assist. There was a time a few years ago where we had an absolute shortage of simple things like solar panels, and costs escalated tremendously. We're in a situation now where the solar panels and all the related equipment has come down significantly in cost. Although it doesn't help now that tariffs have been included on the solar panels, which will also then dissuade people from putting in solar.
And then lastly, Michael, do you see that within the solar and also wind turbine sector, business-wise, people are beginning to venture into it as a business opportunity?
When we experienced the bad bouts of load shedding, there were a lot of new entrants into the industry. A lot of those have fallen by the wayside because they're concentrated simply and only on the solar sector, that renewable sector. There is expertise out there. It needs to be properly trained, and we can ramp up to deal with the demand when it comes, as it comes.
Well, that was Michael Straton from Straton Solar, just speaking about the importance of the conversation around renewable energy being a topical issue. Also speaking about the fact that it's not only an alternative, but looking forward in the future, it will probably be the number one energy source in the country. And also saying there's an urgent need for more expertise within the sector. That yes, over the past couple of months, there's been decrease in sales, but saying that going future-wise, wind turbine energy and also solar energy are definitely a huge solution to the current energy crisis the country is facing. For now, let's go back to you in studio.
Thank you to our SABC News reporter Lerato Fekisi as we continue throughout the day focusing on South Africa's energy sector.